So the Necronomicon, we're talking about the Necronomicon of Joshua Free, and what makes it different from all the other Necronomicons. It's probably one of the most frequently asked questions I've had since announcing the release of our Necronomicon. We were very secretive about it. We didn't talk about it. We referred to the main source book of ours as the Bible for a long time. Some of us, Family Guy's pretty big out here, and with us, and we called it Blue Harvest for a while because it was the Lapis edition, and for that. Look up Blue Harvest if you don't know the reference. But anyways, the Necronomicon of Joshua Free. How does that relate to the work that you might have seen prior here on YouTube and other books and a lot of our themes and whatnot, specifically Anunaki? Okay. It begins actually with what we call the Book of Anunaki. And these are tablets that describe the natures of the Watchers and the Gigi. Okay, that's your Igigi is your word of the day. It is these figures that reappear over and over again in various books of the dead, books of our ancestors, books of generation where we came from. At the very least, it seems that the ancients believed that these figures were in control of not only life, but death. And so reality, life, the world of life, and death, the world of death. Life, the gates of life, and death, the gates of death, and the worlds and the inhabitants for each. Now, these sky gods, according to these tablets, they appear absolutely as a separate race, but somehow harmonious with genetics of modern humans. And this becomes evident in the Book of Generations. Now, in addition to that, the Anunnaki had varying races among themselves. Anunnaki is kind of like an earth word for, an earthling's word for them, like humans. And of humans, humans is kind of a catch-all phrase. We, of course, can subdivide, race and all that kind of stuff. So, not much different than what we see in the human population today. However, it does seem that a specific family, at least, is that which came in the appearance of these mythologies of these specific Anunnaki. It then goes into what we call the Book of Stargates, which contains a portion of the Babili texts, which is basically what I feel became the basis of the Babylonian, not Sumerian, version of the book, which was translated allegedly from Greek and edited by Simon in the 1970s. And while the sevenfold gate system within the Simonian version has come under attack by critics as both fake and dangerous, sometimes simultaneously, I was fortunate during my research with the Mardukite Chamberlains to be able to uncover the same gate system independently and from more antiquated sources than the Simon book, and I found them in basically texts leading back to Babylon. The gate working extends back to ancient times. Gate working, gatekeeping extends back to ancient times when the priests were working alongside, personally, with these Anunnaki figures. And they worked along with them. It kind of sounds like some movies you might have seen, but they worked along with them in the construction of the stargates of these sky gods here on Earth. And it's places which the glamour and mystique has since really been lost, and forgotten with their power, deactivated, but waiting to be awakened. These buildings, specifically, which house most of them, the ones famously in lore, these buildings were stepped pyramids, and they were built in 7 stages and possessed 7 main sections on their ascent. And the most important, for our purposes anyways, was the Anunaki, which is the foundation bond of heaven and earth, and another being the Isagila, which is the name given to the official shrine temple of Marduk in Babylon. So the Babili formula then becomes increasingly important to follow for these structures to possess their authenticity and for the stargates to actually be activated. So the ladder of light system of self-initiation that's been alluded to in revivals of Egypto-Babylonian traditions really becomes more symbolic in nature here today. No literal stairway is really being attempted by an individual practitioner. The attention now becomes transferred to the temple shrine as the physical structure of the body, as a microcosm, literally a miniature universe unto itself. And this method seemed to be more popular in the Egypto-Babylonian Hermetic mysteries and even traditions of Zoroaster and the later traditions that follow through into Western Europe and to traditional occultism, than the pre-dynastic models, which had a relatively higher focus on the physical construction of these things. It later became a function of the priest and priest king to oversee the maintenance of the already built temple shrines, as well as the activation of the veils and layers of the individual body temples of the masses, the practitioners of the populace that lived in the territory.